Smoke agents or controllers are by far the hardest to play out of all the categories, and no one can change my mind. But Flo, isn't that kind of biased since you play smokes? Shut up! What's up guys, Flo here. As you guys know, I'm a controller main, meaning that I kind of main smokes and I do essentially the job that nobody else in ranked wants to do. Now for the controller mains, they'll probably agree with me and it's probably gonna sound biased, but for those of you guys who are new and don't necessarily believe me, here's why. Let me kind of explain what it feels like playing smokes in ranked. Please Jet, you're my only hope. Take my RR and win. Nah. Honest to God, that is exactly what it feels like. You are entrusting your teammates to do most of everything for you because you as a smoke agent have so many limitations that other agents in general just don't have. Let's start by getting the obvious one out of the way. Almost all controllers have very little utility that helps themselves. Almost all the utility that smokes have are better suited to helping out their team. And their signature abilities are almost always taken up by a smoke slot, which essentially just means that your main ability has very little use in helping you get any kills and making any impact. Now, for some people who might say kills aren't everything, that is true, and that is a fair enough point. But if we were to simplify everything down, and if there was one agent that was able to guarantee being good for 2, meaning he's able to trade 2 for 1, that would be the most broken agent in Valorant. So while kills aren't everything, kills are a lot. And if you think about it, majority of the times that you lose your games, it's because your team as a whole does not trade evenly. Because if you traded positively, chances are all your site holds, site executes, and retakes would probably have worked. So I know I'm gonna hear it. Omen has a flash that he's able to play off of, and I would agree. Omen is one of those solid examples where you can actually do a lot with the flash and you're able to outplay people with it and you can use the TP. But that's where it leads to my second point, and that is play style. For the people who have played smokes for a long time, they know that for most of the game, their priority is staying alive. On the defense side, you can get away with it a little bit more because defense is usually a little less necessary to have smokes. But on the attack side, it is pivotal to have smokes up because if your team ever tries to hit a site and they don't have smokes, it really does feel like your fault. That means taking space and everything like that really requires either a lot of teamwork or you have to play extremely passive. You rarely get any time to gain any momentum because by risking your life to gain momentum, you have the chance to just lose the round for your team. So in the end, controller players are kind of just forced to make a lot of safe plays, even though they might be aggressive players. And the only time that they can really go off is when the rest of the team is dead and they need to make a play. Usually the smoke player starts popping off when most of the team dies, and you want to know why? Because that's the only time where it makes sense to get aggressive. If your team is already losing, if you guys are already in a 3-on-5 situation, it starts making less sense for you to prioritize having smokes up because you guys are probably going to lose anyway. But that just means that every time we start to pop off, it's usually in a lost cause scenario, or when you're significantly down. Not exactly a fun position to be in. Now let's talk about the technicalities that controllers have to really be aware of. Number 1 is smoke timings. On most agents, you're allowed to smoke on the run. So we're going to use Omen and Brimstone, for example, because they're now meta. But the idea is that if I want to hit the A site here, at what point do I need to start smoking? I have 2 smokes that I need to put up. One for Heaven and one for CT. In a controller main's mind, this is what happens. I need to smoke out Heaven.
Cover going out.
I need to smoke out CT.
Shadows
and I need to flash for my teammates.
Blinding.
And you'll start noticing that while I was smoking, I started smoking here. And I finished around here to get the flash. This is the optimal execution of smokes. The tower one pops, the CT one pops, and right after you're done smoking, you're in the perfect position to start throwing your flash to flash through sight. As you're running down short, Heaven is getting smoked, CT is getting smoked, and now you're in the perfect position to flash for your team as they're running up. No momentum is lost. Your teammates don't have to wait for smokes to go out. As your team is pushing is right after the flash goes and paranoias everyone on site. That's something that not a lot of other agents have to worry about. Let's also remember that most of the smoke agents are global presence, or at least a very wide amount of presence. So we're staring at the mini-map like 99% of the time, trying to figure out where our teammates are and where exactly the site hit is going. Because trust me, when you duelists don't know where you're going and what the plan is, we have no idea how to support. We don't want to go into a place where you're just trying to get a pick, you get traded, and because half of the time we're also holding spike, we also don't want to die there. So we want to figure out what the best course of action is while watching the game develop, while most of the other agents don't have to worry about that. Most of their focus is just on what's happening on your screen, whether someone's peeking you or not, and it doesn't really matter how the round pans out because chances are you're going to die trying to get that pick. It's very straightforward thinking, and you're allowed to tunnel vision a lot more than you are allowed with controllers. So essentially what I'm saying is that you're stuck with a kit that doesn't really benefit you. Majority of the time where you get the chance to pop up, you're already put into an unfavorable position. You're required to stare at your mini-map just to get down proper smoke timings, and you're doing all of this in a ranked game where everyone just focuses on kills. So you're just underappreciated and overworked. So next time you complain about your smokes not doing their job properly, maybe that's a sign for you to actually start playing them. And now that you're trying to learn, make sure you check out all of my other videos that explain which controllers are best on each map, and check out some of my controller guides, and stay tuned for future guides. As always, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.